I'm so sorry to hear about your loss, and I think let's just jump right into it, right? It's if you don't mind introducing yourself and explaining, why you reached out and really who we're speaking about, and we'll just jump right in if that's okay.
Okay. Well, my name is Abraham Rojo. I am the brother of Antonio Ibanez. Um, he's basically he's basically like a brother to me. He's always been. Um, he's biologically not my brother, but he's kind of like my stepbrother. But he's never really like that to me because you know he's been around my family. That's my mom's firstborn son, and basically to see my mom and well, when she gave me that phone call, to hear her, crying what happened to my brother, it kind of just like, it tore me apart. So I'm the brother. Um, my brother, he was 42 years old. His birthday was just on February 6th, just a month before all this happened. Um, this happened on March 5th, just recently, and it was the day after my dad's birthday that this happened. And it's the Montclair Police Department who did this. It was six. Um, it was six police officers. Um, we had to do a press conference in front of the hospital. We had to go to the city council, and we had to get an attorney. And after all that, they released the names to us of the officers who did it. Right. Now here's the thing: they don't have body cam footage, and that's what they're saying. I try to do research, on their pictures. I couldn't see no body cam footage on my end, and this is where it gets a little bit messed up. So basically, the person who called the cops, um, it was a family friend of ours. My brother lived with her for, I would say, about 12 to 15 years, and she called the cops for, they call it a mental wellness check, right? So I guess my brother fell into a relapse. My brother worked for Caltrans. He was and I'll tell you the truth. Like my brother, he was sober for like for 12 years, man. Like in the beginning of his life, he was, he had his battles, but then he turned his life around. And he was sober for 12 years. He worked for Caltrans, man. He started going to church. He turned his life around, dude. And I guess because there was no his I didn't know that his job just recently let him go. So I think he kind of lost all that what he was working for. And going back to the lady, her name's Regina. She's a friend of ours, and she thought that the cops were gonna go in there and help him out because he hadn't he just wouldn't come out of his room for like a whole day. And basically they went in there at 1 a.m. on a Saturday, I believe. And I guess she said that I guess he didn't want to come out the room, and they basically barged in and beat him in his own room. They used they used a baton, and they used a stun gun on him, and it was six officers. And the lady said that she was too intimidated to basically film the police. She was too intimidated to record them. And she said that after when they were beating him, and you know basically they walked him out in handcuffs, right? And the neighbors said they heard the stunga going off like 6 7 times. And basically when he was in handcuffs, and before before he took his final breath, before he you know I'm just gonna say like it's really hard. Before he went to heaven, because my brother, he believed in Christ like so hard, so that's why I'm gonna go by how he said. So before he passed on, he asked for water. He was in handcuffs because I guess he couldn't breathe, right? And he asked for water, and the lady said that the cop threw the water to his face. He opened the water bottle and he threw it to his face like this. And my brother had passed out after that. And once the cops seen that, they were telling the lady like, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna call the family." And the cops were like, "Don't call the family, don't call the family." And they were just trying to, I guess at that point they were just trying to cover it up, and I don't know. But yeah, that's yeah, I'm not sure if I went off subject or anything, but yeah, that's
First of all, my heart and prayers and thoughts and energy and light go to you and your family for having to deal with this. There's no right way to have to explain this because it's so wrong. There's no it's it's something we have to deal with that's unlike anything else, you know. That's the reality. And you know, there can be issues with people and people then you know, doing things to others, but we're talking about the police, the people who we grow up relying on, that are supposed to protect and serve us in all these capacities. And then for this violent, brutal murder, um
in his own room, man, in his own home. And what's sad is that you know, that lady has a daughter, and what they're saying on the news is that he threatened her or something, and he basically grew up with that daughter. He basically raised that girl, and what's yeah, they're trying to say that he had a weapon or he was armed, but he didn't have anything. And the ladies are like, why? Like once the lady seen the news, she's like, why are they saying this? Why are they saying that? And dude, I started finding out how this whole like corrupted thing goes down. And like I started reaching out to other families, and they're like, yeah, they're gonna say this. They're gonna try to paint your brother as like this bad dude. Who, and I'm like, man, that's not right. Like, because honestly, like,
he's the
whether he was whether
front
he was going through
part,
something in his, like,
parts.
he wouldn't.
There's
He
no
would
excuse. There's
he
never
didn't
gonna
even
be.
he didn't even harm anyone, man. He didn't even hurt anyone. Like, he didn't even have a weapon for, and for this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, they went in there and they basically beat the living shit out of him, dude. They tased his, you know, they sent him into cardiac arrest, dude. I got the medical. I asked when I was at the hospital, dude. The hospital was a whole nother thing. The hospital was a whole nother thing, man. Um, I got a picture one of the cops when they were in there while my whole family, dude, was visiting my brother trying to grieve what was happening to him. Like, they were right there besides us. This dude's watching Netflix, bro. This is the police department watching Netflix. And
Oh,
there was one where like I started losing it in there, and the cop just like, you can tell he was like, as soon as I got the lawyer and he walked in, the cops were shitting him, man. And the hospital didn't weren't even attending to basically what I was asking, because first of all, I don't even know why they took him to that hospital. That's not even a trauma care center. And I was asking them for them to transfer him to like a better one, and they basically were ignoring me and my family. Oh, this is another thing, man. When my mom had found where hospital he was at, my mom had to look for what hospital he was at, because they didn't even tell the lady where they were taking him.
oh my God. Uh, to be
They,
clear,
they, they didn't let my mom see him for the first 2 days. When she found him, she had to just basically rush in there.
oh my God. And how long was he on life support for?
Let's see.
While you look at that, I just want to mention to be clear, Montclair Police Department, that's in California.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right here by Ontario.
California is supposed to be a state with a lot of police reform, right? With a lot of change in police. And look at this. Someone called the police on someone for help, called 911, and the result is this. And there is no excuse for it, you know. Um, this is and what you're saying, I just want to acknowledge that it's very often that the police will kill someone and then try to, assassinate their character, right? And go in the media and say all of these lies and and things that don't even have to be true. The police have sometimes direct relationships with a lot of the news and the media, and so they're first to get the info. Unfortunately, the lawyer will tell the victim's family and close ones, right? What do they typically say? Hey, don't talk to the media, remain silent, don't those kind of things. So the news just bites on the first thing they get, which is from the police, which is
Oh
all going to
yeah,
be
man.
negative. There's no humanity. And it is outrageous. And we all should be as upset truly as you are, because this is a risk we all face when the police show up. And without question, if you're black and brown, it's there's no doubt there's less humanity and insanity going on. What were you gonna how many days was Tony on life support because of these six Montclair Police Department officers?
So he was admitted like March 4th to going into 5th, right? So like early morning.
Uh-huh.
Um, and well, as a family, we had to decide. I think we decided on, I believe it was March 15th. So we had him like about 4th, like about, I think it was maybe 11 to 13 days. I'm not sure, maybe 12, 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. And what's more messed up is that, just going back to the hospital, is that nobody spoke English. Nobody like spoke English. So, um, my mom was in there, by herself for the first 2 days, trying to find answers and questions. And it wasn't until she finally texted me like, "Hey, you need to come see your brother because you know it's it's now or never." And when she told me that, man, I was just like, I don't, like, what's she talking about, And I went, dude, and man, as soon as my brother told me too, like, you know, my as soon as he's like, he's in the ICU, I'm like, ICU, like, what do you mean, man? Like, he's not doing good. And then I went in there, I seen his situation, and yeah, man, they beat the fucking shit out of him, dude, and he 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 did not deserve to go out like that, dude. Because when I show you the pictures and stuff about my brother, you will see, man, he was a good dude, bro. He he took care of other people's pets, man. If they couldn't take care of him, he would walk. When I went back to the neighborhood, they're like, the whole the whole community is silenced because your brother was just the whole life, man. And I think they overdid the force, man. They over, the whole stung in. What's messed up is the whole, there's no body cam, but the lady said she's seen what they were doing to him in his room, but she was just too intimidated to record and film. And after they were intimidated there, and they stood there to like, she said to like 7 a.m. after, asking her the same question: Did you see anything? Did you see anything? Did you see anything? And she's like, why did they keep asking me this? I already answered it. And um, my bad, dude. I didn't think I was gonna break. I didn't think
Oh,
that was gonna happen.
no worries, man.
But it's really hard to relive those days, dude, because that hospital was treating my family like shit, dude. The nurses didn't even want to answer any questions, dude.
The
For
hospital name? Do you want to share
Montclair, Montclair Hospital.
the hospital?
Yeah, and then I remember one of the nurses, her name was Sam. Yeah, dude, until the lawyer walked in, they all started shitting it, man. Like, and then that's when we had the press conference in front of the hospital, and then they all changed their whole character. Dude, what was more messed up, and like, like, is that, is that, to me, like, the when the cops were in there, the police, they were not trying to answer any questions. And it wasn't until after they left, they got rid of the whole staff that was working in there. And for some reason, they got like black and brown nurses to work. I'm like, I didn't know what that was about. And then finally, they brought in a translator who happened to be like the accountant from that hospital to go in there and start translating. And she was the only one who was like trying to, like translate and helping us out, dude. I had to like me and my family, we had to take shifts, dude, like being there for my brother, bro. And what's messed up is that I would tell them like, hey, don't do any tests without letting the family know. What do I do when I want to go? The doctor didn't even the doctor didn't even want to tell us that he was brain dead in person. He told my mom over the speaker and phone, which I thought that was really unprofessional.
That's tough.
So yeah, from the moment in the hospital to it's just been
That is
yeah, man, it's been and then they didn't for a police department that's always on Instagram posting each arrest each night. They did not post anything about my brother until like a month and a half, or like maybe like 6 weeks. They posted, and it was a like really half-ass written statement, man. There was a lot of like, if you read it, I have all this stuff like screenshotted, saved. I got the officer's name, I got their badge numbers, I got a couple of their pictures. I can't find two, so there's 4 out of 6, maybe 5 out of 6 that I got. There's
so
one.
say the
There's
names
one.
of the officers. We're gonna if you send me the photos and the photos with the names underneath, I'll literally post that. So as we're talking literally now, people will see it. Tell me the two officers' photos you don't have. So if anyone can, do their homework and send it in.
All right, let me go back to my. Let's
What's
see.
the IG page that you're using? Justice for Tony, the number 4, correct?
Yeah, the number 4, Tony.
On
Yeah. So
Instagram.
basically, it's basically like this right here, Justice for Tony.
Justice for
But
Tony.
you'll probably see a picture like this on the Instagram. Yeah,
What's his name?
that one is Christopher Vera. Christopher Vera, and his badge number is 409.
Montclair Police Department.
Yep, that's one of them right there.
Was another one there that day?
That other guy right there, yeah, Jesse James, him, yeah, that's another one right there, Officer Jesse James, badge number 434.
All right, you'll send me these though, and we'll make
Yeah.
it better. Do you want to share the officers' photos you don't have, or you just did, or no, that's not those two. It's two other.
Uh,
If you want
the
to share.
one, the one's photos I can't find is the one who has the priors. Is the one who has priors.
Wow, talk about that.
His name is Sean Mackey, Mackey,
How do you
and his
spell
badge
Sean?
number. Sean is just Sean.
Ian Mackey and
Sean Mackey. That's the one I can't find the picture of.
badge number
401.
401.
And then the other one I can't find, which is I'm not sure if I have her on one of these pictures, but I can't, because I can't get I can't read the names, But the ones that I can't get is that guy's that I Sean Mackey. The other one is Allison Stevens. Allison Allison Stevens, and her badge number is 464. And then there's the other one is Natalia Magana, and her last name is Magana. Her badge number is 475. And then there's these other ones I got the pictures of.
You could say
And
that. Go on.
his name is this one's kind of hard to say. His name is Josefat Cardenas Borboa. And his badge number is 472. I got his picture as well. And yeah, Christopher Vera, Sean Mackey, Jesse James, Allison Stevens, and Natalia Magana, and Christopher Vera. Those are the ones.
You're strong, man. It's like, you definitely didn't. No one, I'm certain you didn't wake up and say, hey, let me like look up a bunch of cops and have to do a ton of research and like near an investigator nearly and a
I
publicist
had to,
nearly and a
I had to stay
spokesperson.
up. I had to stay up, man, like because I couldn't fall asleep, dude. So I was on as soon as I got the names, I went on Facebook because that's where they're most active. They're most active on Facebook and Instagram. They don't have a Twitter. They don't have a Twitter. Um, so that's where I went because I was trying to see if they have body cams. Because once they told us, like why did they take a month to tell us all this stuff? Like we don't have body cam. Like we had to go do all this, make all this noise in order to just get that information, just for them to say we didn't. Why didn't the chief when he was at the city council tell us, hey, we don't have body? That guy was just right there on the side laughing, dude. Like
Story of Tony that makes you, that a funny story of Tony or the time he made you laugh or
so basically, when he was going to church and all that, he was, dude, he was hardcore, man. You know, he was going to church every Sunday. He learned the piano, started singing. He would always tell me and my brother and my family, "Oh, you guys need to go to church. You guys need to go to church." And I remember I joked one time. I'm like, "Oh, like," because he's like, "Oh, are you religious?" I'm like, "I'm into Buddhism." Buddhism. He's like, come sing you sing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go sing you sing. And then the next day he sends me a picture of him with the Buddhist that he met, like a Buddhist monk. But I wasn't like really serious about that. And then I actually finally went to go see him sing. And yeah, man, he was super happy about it. And I didn't know what like to. They were doing something when they were going up there, and I just went up there, and I guess they didn't see me, and so everybody was just going on the stage, and I was like the only one left right there while my brother was singing. And I was like, okay, how do I cut to the stage here? And yeah, he was just laughing about it because he was like, oh, you should have just jumped on. And I'm like, I didn't know, man. I'm new, like this is my first time coming to see you singing. And I didn't know everybody was gonna go on the stage. And yeah, man, he would always give us a hard time, but it was more of like a good, like a good, like, like you guys need to come and see me sing. But that's one memory that like I'm really glad I went to go do it. And then he would always give us like when he would come see the dogs, he'd be like, oh, you guys haven't even like took the dog a shower, like, or take her for a walk or anything. And like he always spoke the truth when nobody wanted to hear it, like the elephant in the room, like without like it's like, dude, you really gotta say that, like,
right, right. I know it. Damn.
and he helped everybody out, dude. Like if you see from the photos, like he helped everyone out, man. Like because of his size, man. My brother was a pretty tall, big dude, and so if like the neighbor who was like an elderly woman, she needed help to put her TV up. Like they would ask him, and she would do it. He would do it right away.
I'm so sorry. You're strong, man, and again, it's brave you continuing having to share. and I appreciate you taking this time. And
Oh, there's one more thing.
go ahead.
So, so since he works for Caltrans, right? He would find stuff that would be like from the trucks that are like left from like companies. And he would just always bring up some random stuff. Like he would bring like shorts. He's like, dude, um, like one time he brought me this distortion pedal because he knew like I was trying to play the guitar, and it's like a really expensive one. It's an orange one. And I'm like, dude, where the hell did you find this from? He's like, oh, it was on the side of the freeway, because he's always cleaning after people's mess, and he would find some really good stuff, and he would just give it out to people for free. And yeah, that's the last story I want to share about him because
That's
he loved his job. Man. He loved his job.
that's amazing. And when the photos you sent, it kind of it shows like it's like uh unnecessary, avoidable, um, tragic. Like it's disgusting. I
Yeah, man.
the adjectives are just overwhelming, and no one should have to deal with this. The fact you're brave enough to keep communicating, sharing, and it is just happened. To be clear, this happened months ago. Months. Um, so we're here for you. You keep me posted, and we'll get this video out and get this community support. If people find photos of the officers responsible that you haven't quite located yet, they can message you on Justice for Tony on Instagram. And
Yeah,
you're
that's
the
where I'm mostly active right now. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, anything else you want to say or share?
I just want to say, one, we're gonna make sure these officers are held accountable. They're gonna be exposed for what they did to my brother. Three, we're gonna demand the city to start having body cam footage. Because how do they not have body cam
That's
footage?
that's actually I was while we were speaking, um, I was Googling, yeah, if Montclair PD had body cams. I can't even believe in California, out of all states, they don't have that. That's unbelievable. I think police around the country need to have body cameras. Police in California should have had body cameras. And go ahead. Sorry about that, but it's unbelievable.
No, yeah, you're right. I believe every police department should start having body cam footage. Because how much does the body cam footage cost? Like 60, $80? Maybe
Now,
like 100?
at the same time, I want to be mindful of one other thing because the body cam footage, although all officers should have it, there's a handful of families that I've spoken with who've lost their loved ones in similar and or different ways that the police took Tony's life. And believe it or not, the body cams either don't capture right the right angle, or you actually see if you look at Tyree Nichols, right, in that brutal murder, you don't see if you just had to rely on the body cams, which those officers had, you would not have the kind of you know outcry that you did. The only reason people saw it from that bird eye security view or city camera right on the corner.
Yeah.
The point is, and then when the body cam footage does capture stuff and the families want it, it's nearly never available. Um, when the police want to use that to show something they did positive, it's released in 24 hours. If they want to show something to refute someone's claims, it's shown in 24 hours. When they've wrongfully killed someone unjustly, the family may never and the public may never see that footage. And that's a harsh reality of being mindful with body cam reform. Um, of just what's going on. But I do agree that they all should wear it. Um, but that's just a tough reality. One thing I just also want to mention is ending qualified immunity. Every single family and victim of police brutality, I find, is on a common mission and goal to end qualified immunity, which is the eternal blanket they get for killing people,
Yeah, for not being held accountable, right?
never being held accountable. Right. I mean, you get in a car accident that's an accident and your insurance goes up. You're held accountable to a degree. If you did that 3 times and they're all reasonable accidents, your insurance is still going to continue to go up because that makes sense, right? Police are the only people in this country or world that can break the law, that can hurt people, kill people, abuse, murder, and never be held accountable and never personally be held accountable. And that we can't wonder why this issue is continuing when there's no accountability. The only reason we have laws and police, the perceived idea is we need accountability in society, right? You break the law, police come, okay, now you don't want to do that. Well, police have zero of that. And we just we all have to just really start demanding that we end qualified immunity as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And qualified immunity, because that's where it starts, you know? That's basically once you do that, all these officers will start thinking twice about, like who knows what this, who knows what and the lady told me, she described the officer as a Caucasian dude with the beard, with the thick beard, and I'm like, okay, the person I can't find is that guy Sean Mackey who has priors. Who knows if this guy just was just overdoing it just because he wanted to take his bad day out on my brother, like who know, and the fact that he has priors, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's nowhere to be found on social media or anywhere, dude, So
Still could be working for the department, could be getting paid by the department, could be on desk duty. These are public servants. You
yeah,
know,
once I seen those other officers still out, I'm like, all right, what the how the and the lady told me that that they're already that one of the officers, I believe it's a female, who's probably the one that I can't find the picture of on social media. She said that they're already like posting up like somewhere like before she leaves to work, and they're just looking at her like before she leaves. So
look, check this out. How come we're private citizens, you and I and Tony, private citizen, right? We are private citizens. How come when we get in trouble by it or not, or just arrested by police for even for something we didn't do, our mugshots plastered all over the news, our names are shared everywhere. Again, we are innocent until proven guilty in this country. So during that time before our trial, the media and the news is going to plaster private citizens in the public as awful people. Now, the public servants are the police. That's who the private citizens pay to serve them. How come when they break the law, when they do wrong, the public servants get all the privacy? It is the most backwards bullshit, wrong, nonsensical reality that exists in our society. It makes no sense. They have no problem sharing bad information about Tony, right? They have no problem.
yeah, and
But
they
a
can't
public
dig up
servant,
they can't dig up anything, and that's why I wanted to reach out to you because you have always filmed the police, and and that's a saying that everyone has to be encouraged by because we're in a situation where she didn't film the police. What if she would have known to film the police? It would have been a whole different circumstance and situation to look at my brother's case. And that's why we always have to film the police, and that's why I reached out to you.
I I I have a lot of respect and appreciation and for your bravery. And it's sad that that's what we have to do.
No,
It's
yeah, but that's what we're gonna do it, man, and we're gonna start encouraging people to film the police, man. Whether it's any little small arrest, whether this guy's pulling someone over, because it could save someone's life, man. Like, what if she was filming them? They would have been a little, oh, because once you put the camera on someone, everyone changes character. You put the camera on the cop, is he gonna stop? Is he gonna, with those 5 to 10 seconds that they were tasing my brother, if they were filming him, they could have saved his life probably instead of sending him to cardiac arrest.
We'll keep encouraging people, man. I appreciate you sharing, and we got your back and here for you.
Oh yeah, man, we're gonna get justice for my brother, and we're gonna encourage any family. We hope no family has to go through this, because that's the messed up thing, There's probably other families out there that's happening to them who are afraid to speak up because they're just afraid to speak up against the cops. They have this whole stigmatism. The cops are gonna, nah, man, we have rights and we gotta use them. We got
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you're right. The police retaliate against families and victims of police brutality and police injustice and police murder. That's unnecessary, avoidable. And I've seen situations where the police are arresting the parents of the loved ones they just killed because the parents are asking questions saying, "What's going on? Hey," and they want them to not be too
yeah.
close.
Could also say one thing on the page. I have a link tree, and if anyone wants to, donate anything, that would help for our next gathering and the funds for a flag and a banner. That way we have the message out there exposing the cops what they did. Anything will help for the next community gathering for my brother because it's I've been doing this all on my own, man. I've been doing this all on my own for the past couple of months. It's been hell on earth for me, but I have to do it, dude, because my mom, she's an elderly woman. She can't do all of this, man. So it's like they say, man, the young one from the family has to take the burden, and I guess that's what I have to do now, man. And I have to make noise for my brother, man, be the voice for my family, man.
You're doing a really good job, really.
Thanks. And thanks for having this. Thanks for having this meeting. Thanks for, sharing this. Thanks, anyone who's gonna help out. We're gonna start filming the police and expose this department.
All right. Appreciate you. We're gonna get the word out.